reads her smartphone, and Jessie looks at cute photos, and Kelly fights to stay awake, and Lisa worries about mugging, and Chris Younger eats an Egg McMuffin, and Trutzen thinks great thoughts, and Elisa watches Sean Spicer press conferences, and Amy digs in her purse, but nobody, not one person, notices that Devin has projected a poem about a starving girl eating fresh fish eyes. What kind of monsters has CUWP turned us into?
So yesterday I did this scribble, and scribbles are usually a pretty peaceful time for our group, no judgment zone type thing, but I showed a video of a fireman saving a kitten that appeared dead, but then the fireman saves the cat and brings it back to life, and then I told the group, okay, write about what this made you think of, or I gave them a couple of options for a prompt. And I thought it was going well until I asked people to share, and then I realized how controversial the topic of a fireman saving a cat was.
From the cat's perspective, I felt the water hit me first. My suicide attempt was ruined. GoPro only paid the firemen, even though I increased their sales. Shattered innocence. Thank you for crying, Caroline, but you should know it was CGI.
So there are four of us. Debbie is the boss, the putative boss, and then Joseph, Chris, and I are her helpers. But I think everybody knows the real power behind the throne of who makes things happen at the Central Utah Writing Project. So Chris and Joseph are my lackeys, and I'm trying to really run the show the way it should be run. But I want Debbie to feel like she has something to do meaningful, so don't let her know that she's not really in charge.
Okay, so let's see. We have 4 people who direct the Writing Project site, and we don't really have specific jobs, although I would say Chris's job is mostly just to be a thorn in everyone else's side. He is good at keeping track of time and making sure that we have meals or that we have meals scheduled. So even though technically because I do the paperwork, I show up as the director, it's really a very mutual and shared arrangement. And I think the nice thing about it is that each person has strengths that they bring to the group. And to that leadership team, each person has something. So you can see that some people are really sensitive to the moods of the group, and they're trying to make us aware of if someone's not feeling part of the community. You have people who are more outgoing, people who are less outgoing, but that's an okay thing because we identify with other things. So we just have different strengths that we bring, and I think insights that we bring to the team, and that's what makes it work, I think, as a leadership team. So the Writing Project, the day-to-day of the Summer Institute, has 2 focuses, and they are the same as the principles of the National Writing Project. So one focus is teachers teaching teachers. So that has to be a part of each day where we have some time where teachers teach. And that happens in a couple of different ways. One, it happens in the lab lessons where teachers share their practices that they're trying to improve. I think it happens even more in the discussions that follow the lab lessons, where we really start to reflect on practices and principles and what makes them work. And I think that it has the potential anyway, or should be one of the most teaching times about teaching writing and what it means to be a writing teacher. So that should happen, something like learning about writing instruction should happen every day. And then the other thing is that the best writing teachers are writers themselves. So the other thing is that we should be writing every day and should be feeling like writers in the sense that we struggle through the process sometimes, but that we share and work with other writers to make our writing better. And at some point, go public with our writing. And that's an important part of feeling like a writer too. So we start off with writing. We have the log, which is a different kind of writing experience a lot of times. Lab lessons, writing time, lab lessons, writing and reading time. We read so that we can inform ourselves for the teaching and for the writing. So our days kind of follow a rhythm like that. We break it up with speakers sometimes and with our walk and write, which is good for writing and building community. But essentially, it's those two principles that guide the choices of the activities every day.
We're going to be doing an exercise together. So I want you guys to, not just me, we want you all to make a list of the things that you're an expert about. The things that you feel that you can write confidently about. So we have some examples here. My parents, Mark, whoever Mark is for this person, living in Manhattan, problems with my neck, teaching. That's not me, that's not my list. I don't know who Mark is. But take a few minutes and write down your writing territories.
Yeah. Okay. So we're doing a Central Utah writing project together, and we're married, and we're both teachers. I don't know. And why did we decide to do it together?
Because you told me I should do it, and I'm terrified of being a middle school teacher, so I need all the help I can get.
I made sure to pick songs that my audience would relate to. And then secondly, I knew that it wouldn't be as fun to just watch a single person standing up there on the stage, so I recruited some people to help me out.
So pretty much my entire classroom management plan revolves around how cool I am. So in order to up the cool factor every year, I have to keep one-upping myself at this lip sync battle. Because when kids think that you're cool, they respect you. And when kids respect you, then you can manage the classroom. So I guess you could say that lip syncing is a vital part of my teaching strategies.
So I'm kind of doing my own thing because I was like,
You're hitting me on. Okay, so my favorite thing about Summer Institute is the opportunity to write first and foremost, but a close second would be the camaraderie with fellow teachers and the ideas that are generated both deliberately and haphazardly as we have our discussions. That's the number one and two things that I really like about it.
So one of the great things about the writing project is the belief that teachers teach teachers, and so we all bring knowledge to the Summer Institute and share what we learn about writing as we're learning as writers ourselves. But it's been great. It's always been great to work with Debbie because she's an acknowledged expert nationwide about writing instruction. So she brings the spirit of the National Writing Project to our local project, involves teachers. She invests a lot of time and effort into making things work the way they do. She really cares about it, and so she wrote the original grant that made this possible back almost 10 years ago now. And she does all the paperwork every year, which is an incredible amount of bureaucracy, just to keep us running. But it's been lots of teachers, over 100 teachers, maybe 200 teachers by now, have been a part of the Summer Institute, and that's all because of Debbie.